today's episode is all about faith in business. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're just going to hit key points that we have noticed in starting this business on what we truly think is the things you really should hone in on and focus on and follow to try to lead by faith each day in your business for success and also to keep it going. So, Earl.
Yes, so I was just listening to Jordan Peterson podcast and relates to business and something along about the story that he mentioned about Abraham, where he was, went away from his family and then travel with his own family and went to that journey of the unknown. And I think that's really the reality we're in. We're going to the unknown of life. Hence, God is leading because Abraham is following God's steps or God's, lead. And there's a lot of things that in the book of, it's in the Genesis, where Abraham tried to do it in his own way instead of God's way. And I think that's really powerful to just, God's promises is so true in many ways. He made a covenant to Abraham, like how he's gonna be fathers of all nation, and we can just see today around us in the world today, many are still believe in that Abrahamic faith, so to speak. Whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jews, they all believe in that faith. So in many ways, that's a really powerful story, and where we at now in business, journeying through that with God, and I think it's really powerful to go through the unknown, and it's a lot of tests of your depths of your character and your faithfulness to Him.
Yes. Yeah, when you trust in God and His lead, and you're a lot of times you're just trusting on what you feel is right through His Word, but you can't always see what's on the other side. So you're you're going for something that you don't know what the outcome's going to be, but you know that it's going to work out and be right because it's led through Him. So I think that's one of the big things to kind of, if you're not doing that and you run a business, to train your mindset and to work on your mindset to do that, because you are going to get through it a lot easier if you are trusting in the Lord's leads. I think one of the biggest things in any business, one of the top things that people worry about, or it's always changing as you go through different stages of your business, but it's always there, is the financial aspect. So from beginning to end and throughout the whole process, what finances look like is a huge thing for people. It's an unknown factor that a lot of people, would get worried about, and it's understandable. So I guess when you begin a business and in starting up, getting started, that financial aspect, I feel like we've kind of already gone through. Now it's more of like, we look at finances as a continuous sustaining aspect. Whether we look week to week or month to month, the getting started ones are kind of in the past. We've jumped that hoop. Now we're in this like financial aspect of sustaining finances, and we're working towards a lot of ways you could explain it, but we're working towards making our finances grow and scale. So I think kind of going from talking about what it might look like to follow God's lead in getting started and how to handle your financial situation at the beginning, and then when you come to this middle ground, kind of where we're at, we have income coming in that we could say is kind of consistent, but it's kind of all over it fluctuates. So how do you handle that, and how do you work through that, and then get yourself to that third level, which I feel like is when it's scaling continuously. So what do you think it was? What would you um, share with somebody that's wanting to start their business and how to take that leap, even when there might be some financial doubt?
I think if I'm gonna restart, I mean, this is my just my experience. If I'm gonna restart today, I'll probably do a pre-sale rather than starting on my own right away. I think we made a lot of mistakes in so many ways, and you're gonna make mistake if you start a business in many ways. In healthcare, it's so challenging. You have set price that you have a hard time negotiating. Let's say for insurances, people need to realize that insurance will do anything that they can to deny the service in many ways. Out of network and network coverage is such so hassle to cover just to find claims, such as long steps. So really, just starting your business is really, I think, having, having faith, in many ways, because and what's your true calling. I think that's just my experience too. I can't really speak for them, so but if I'm just gonna go straight to business, I would say do a pre-sale, do a side hustle first, try it out. Don't quit your W2 job because it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
It's a hard road because that's business is not like it used to be back then, and in order you to be found, the marketing is so much harder because the attention span of people are so short, and
And I think people's priorities are very different nowadays and
yes.
mindsets. And so I think that really makes it hard.
So yeah, I mean, if you're just a therapist like me, start small instead of leasing the whole space, sublease to someone else, you know, really.
Yeah. And I think it's, when you start, I think there's two ways. I think it's best to go into it with some money saved up on the side to get yourself going. But there's also ways that you can apply for a business loan to get yourself going in the business that you want to do. You just have to be aware that you're gonna, of course, pay back whatever you've been loaned, and you want to make sure that you're gonna work hard and get to the point that you can make off your
Yeah.
business what you need to pay that back. So,
So yeah, we learned the hard way. So if you really guys want to know, I mean, we can edit this one. Uh, there's so much. I mean, the past two 2 years. So we sold one of our rental house, right? Because we were really short. We were really short. We sold one of our rental house.
you sold your truck how many
I sold
times?
my truck.
Twice, I think, or once.
We sold. I mean, what if we get to that situation and we're gonna sell one more? What do you think?
I don't know. I try not to think of that because when you're in I mean, just me personally, when you're in business, you just, of course, you want to have a positive mindset, especially when it's not easy all the time, and it's not going to happen all the time. Every day it's not going to be positive, but you want to be focusing on what you want your outcome to look like. That way, it's much more likely to happen. Doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but the thing is, too, the way we started is it was very unexpected. Like Earl said a few minutes ago, don't quit your W 2 job. Well, he opened this up. He had left the W 2 job, and then I left out of nowhere my W 2 job. So we did start this up with nothing consistent coming in.
No.
And I'll tell you, I'll reiterate that there's still no consistency. We're past the startup phase, but there's a very big fluctuation in what we're getting in. And so there's no consistency, and we have a lot of different streams we have set up to make income, which is very exciting, and we're working on those, and we work daily very hard to have those different streams, because I think there's a statistic out there that the average person that's a millionaire has 7 streams of income. So not that we're just like waking up every day trying to be a millionaire. We're waking up every day with a purpose to help people. And that's another thing too. When you start a business, your main thing should be is how am I going to help somebody with the service or with what I am creating or with what I'm starting a business for? Because you're not going to get anywhere if you're not helping anybody. You're not going to help yourself anymore if you're not helping other people around you. I think that stems back to your faith, because biblically we're put on this earth to help others. And if your end goal is not doing that, then you're not going to find success. So I think that should always be in the back of your mind too. But um, yeah, so our startup was not easy. It was very hard, but we got through it, and you will. But you do have to rely on your faith, and you have to have certain things in line to make sure you get through that startup phase.
Mm-hmm. So Cody Sanchez said that from 90% of businesses that start within a year close. So starting a business today, you have a 90% failure rate. 2 to 5, so from 0 to 1, 73, according to Cody Sanchez, 0 to 1, from 0 to 1 year, you have 90% failure rate. From 1 to 5 year, you have about 70% failure rate.
So it doesn't decrease a whole lot.
No. So that's what the reality for anybody who's starting a business. And we learn a lot in many ways. Um, so
Can I put in what I truly think
yeah,
ends up making people fail? I think this is the number one thing.
yeah,
I'm working on this very much so. I think the 90 to 70, I think it does decrease a little bit, because I think if you know you've gotten past your first year, you're going to have hope that you can get past the next coming years. Okay, that first year is going to be your hardest. But if you are not in the right mindset and you let yourself stay stuck too long in the wrong mindset, I think that's where people fail. Because I think business is all about your mindset growing and continuing forward. And the minute you let it get taken advantage of in the wrong way, I think that's when people step out and back out, and they don't come back. So I think another big thing is, again, that brings you back to faith. This is why we constantly cycle back to faith in business, because if your mindset is not in the right spot, it is going to get so unbelievably hard and out of control that you're going to want to back out and step away, and you're going to want to quit. So I think one of the major things to invest in as you continue after year one into year 2 and 3 and so forth is, and it doesn't have to be big investments, because you're not always going to have money for big investments. You don't have to take some, mastermind that's 2-3 grand, but you can invest in personal development mindset books. You've read a lot. I've been reading a lot. I used to not like reading at all. And ever since we've entered this stage of life when it comes to really being hardcore and understanding on our finances, our faith, and our mindset, I have become much more into reading. But that's what I read along with the Bible.
yeah. I mean, it really comes down with all this failure rate against us is our attitude, and it's the most underrated, perhaps the most important thing that you gotta have in business besides faith is your attitude, because it's really looking at the positive outlook no matter how difficult the circumstances is, and that's really build character. And I feel like we're keep pushing, keep digging, and just the attitude of not giving up to our dream, and having trusting each other and go all the way is very important today, I think. And that's really what really boils down, becoming one. I think that's pretty much our marriages.
Yeah.
um you know we've been married for 7 years, and it really goes down that the unity is really designed to be one for marriage. people today, I mean, so yeah, marriage is designed for oneness, and I don't even know how to explain it because it's such a deep commitment.
Well, I think, because like you were saying a few minutes ago before we had started, so especially maybe you're going to start a business that you're still single or you're just doing a business on your own. Um, but we have stepped into business as a married couple. And so if we are one in a marriage, we are one in this business. And so when it comes to finances, um, everything is one as well. So the way the money flows in and out from what we make from this business is one. It means we come together to make one decision. We come together to figure out how it's going to be
That's not
saved. How it's
easy.
gonna, no, it's not easy. How it's going to be spent, how it's going to move, how it's going to be divvied up, where it's going to go to next. And that can be a big barrier too. But I mean, when you are one, you have to come to one decision.
Yeah. So we're at the point, like the past what, 6, well, 6 years we've been filing taxes together. Our our checking accounts is together.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is basically together. And in many ways, I think it's God's way to make this work. I think I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah.
In many ways,
Another thing that we were going to talk about when it comes to faith and business. So, as I've shared before, I used to work in a school and I worked in a school. And something I learned that I'm very, very happy that we can do when you own a business is you can decide. Um, in ours, we have employees. Maybe you won't write off, or maybe you will down the road, but I think it's a better approach, and I learned that I like this better. When I had ed techs that worked with me, I did not manage them. We partnered and we made decisions together. And I think with the employees that we have here, I think the clinic has a lot of success because as you guys as OTs, you share ideas, you have your weekly meetings, you all can put input and bring those ideas forth and bring them alive in the business to continue to support clients and their families. And so I feel like in a really stable business that is running on faith, um, that you don't have the mindset that you manage your employees, that you have the mindset that you partner with them and make decisions together. And I think that's really, really important because personally, I just feel like once somebody who puts their heart and soul into something that they do each day and they care a lot about, the minute they feel like they're being managed to the point that their decisions, their ideas, what they want in in this business is being pushed to the side, I just feel like it puts more of a negative impact on your business than a positive one. So I think having the mindset to really pay attention to who you're hiring, because who you're hiring, you should be able to trust, you should be able to have a connection with, and they should have somewhat of the same mindset as you and what they want as an employee coming in to help your business. So I think partnering with them and putting them as much as you can on an equal ground is really important versus having you up here and them underneath all the time. I don't, in the long run, playing the long game, I don't think that is very successful. That's my opinion on that. So I'm happy that we can have more of a model here where we partner with employees, where it's a partnership and we're hand in hand making decisions versus we're managing and they're below. I just don't think that's a godly way of doing things.
the way I look at it in terms of having employees and managing employees is simply just I work for them. So really, for me, no, that's really kind of like what leadership is for me. Is to can I help them reach their potential?
Yeah.
Um, because there's many avenues that we can be distracted to. But if I can help them get their way they want to be, I think that's really I did a okay job. I I'm able to do that. And right now we're 4 of us therapists, and I think we're head into the direction to the unknown as well, in a way that we're putting more social media content. We're not really, geared to that. We're geared to treating our clients. So we're really walking together and just heads on whatever problem we have. And what I need to improve is really just to improve my ability to communicate, um, organize a system that benefits this company. Um, at the end of the day, you know, for us and for them too, the way I kind of like structure or I communicate, we have a lot of ideas for 4 minds of us as therapists, and if we just keep planting good seeds, um, whether they're direct clients or whether through social media or through real ideas that they're thinking, and have that watch and grow. I think that's my job. That's my biggest responsibility right now. So, and I enjoy doing it in many ways. So, but it has its challenges. As
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as we know, every single person on this earth is different. They all have a different purpose. And so it's a blessing when people walk into this business and come and become an employee and partner with us and give every day, every weekday that we're open, what they have to offer to our table so that our business can continue to grow and flourish. And so, like I said, you have, I guess it's like kind of like 3 periods of, you can look at faith in business. You have your startup, you have in the midst of building and growing, and then you're going to get into that third and final stage where you're continuously scaling and your success is starting to pay itself off and go through its cycles.
Right.
So we're trying very hard to move into that third phase. We don't know how long it's going to take.
No.
We don't know how much more time ahead until we get into that one. But all you can do is have your plans to try to move forward.
And that's really why we want to, share this podcast together for you guys, to really want to encourage you, because we're all gonna go through all this stuff, whether it's relationship, business, workplace. We all have our own challenges. I think, well, our calling is to really, achieve our full potential and help you to reach your full potential. And there's physical way to do that. There's emotional way to do that. There's a spiritual way to do that. And spiritually, it's pretty obvious. Having faith is the most important thing in any business. Um, Physically, find how. What do you mean by physically? I don't know. I might skip this physically, but that's probably we see that on different day. And emotionally, just in terms of marriage, it's a lot. I've been, sometimes you got like 10% to give, and I have to carry the 90%, and vice versa. I have 5% to give.
It's something we learned recently. We're really trying to be aware.
Yeah, we're trying to be aware of that energy, carrying each other and continue to encourage each other, because there's going to be a lot of disappointing times in business, and yeah. I see why people don't start their business. So we're literally working 7 days a week.
Yeah. I think you realize you're past the beginning phase when you're so far in that you've got something established. I think that's where we're at. We have something established, and every day it is helping people. So there's no turning back. You got to keep going. You have to keep going. It's not just about you anymore. You've got other people that are depending on you, for work and for services and for everything. So you have to
people lives, people mortgage. That's a big deal.
We always talk about on B Media. You wake up and you want to be the best version of yourself. But if you're a business owner, you're going to wake up today, tomorrow, and every day from here on out. You're going to decide to be the best business owner you can be. You're going to decide to be somebody that has a good mindset, positive mindset and a mindset to move through each day no matter what comes your way, you're going to wake up and be somebody who trusts in God to lead you. And you're going to wake up and be the best version of yourself that you can be.
Yeah,
By
to really
doing all those
finish this
things.
off, to add into the, having the attitude of gratitude is the really secret key of life. Unless we master the gratitude of attitude, I think it's a game changer for everyone to who are dealing to many, many challenges in life, and really we need to be self-aware of the blessings that we have in life, the ability, the purpose, you know. Sometimes we can easily complain on things, and I have done it too many, many, many times, but just having that attitude of gratitude really is a beautiful thing to have. So there you have it, guys.
Have a wonderful rest of your week.